Can we also talk about the Tinder Swindler, which is an old documentary that I rewatched this morning?
I think I started watching that. It's been out for a while.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Oh shit.
Gotcha. Thank you. Hello.
Hey, Mom. Oh, that's a little too close.
It just stop. Why is it moving so much? That was funny. Can I make it not move?
What's it moving?
It was moving this way.
It's moving outside.
It's like this. There you go. That's good.
Yeah, as long as you can move it.
Yeah.
If you want.
That's like, I can't get away.
Can't.
What a way to start.
We've never had a regular start to this podcast, I think.
Ever.
Not even episode 1.
Nope.
Never.
Never ever.
I got to get some water first, because...
Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of If You Would Have Told Me. My name's Emily Page.
I'm Joe Fernandes.
And we just started.
Yeah, and Emily started the show unprovoked.
I know.
She's so professional.
I took an opportunity.
She's like, you know what? You got to go for it. That's what they tell me in this business.
All right, this is what I want to start by talking about. This is an old documentary.
Okay.
I rewatched the Tinder Swindler on Netflix.
Yes.
Because I knew the idea of it because I'd watched it like when it first came out a couple years ago, but I was like, I kind of forget all the little details. Let me rewatch it.
Okay.
I have realized that I've never been in love with a man because these women openly opened like 9 different credit card accounts to give this guy like, I think he swindled like multiple women out of like $10 million. And I feel bad for them. I really feel bad for them. Like, this is not victim blaming at all. Like, I understand, like, if you trust somebody and you love somebody, like, you're willing to do that. I would not give a man $500, let alone $5,000, $50,000. So I've never been on that level of trust and love. Or I'm just very frugal. And I love my money. Like...
Yeah, I mean, that's
a lot of money.
Yeah, so that means either he scammed very few rich women or a ton of poor women. So to get $10 million,
he would apparently use one woman's money to pay for another woman. Oh. What's wrong?
I forgot to hit record on me.
Leave this in.
Yeah,
leave this in.
Right on that one, like yours wasn't. And I'm like, I better stop now because
that's great. Leave that in.
I'll edit it out.
No, I love that. Leave that right in there. Leave the bloopers. No, but apparently he would scam one woman into giving him money for something, and then use that money to pay for another woman, and then use that money to pay for another. So all these women were paying, but I don't know. Maybe it's from what I've been through in past relationships with finances.
What do you mean pay for the other woman?
So he'd be like, I need $30,000. Can you lend? He pretended like he was this rich guy and like a billionaire son. And he's like, hey, they froze my accounts. Can you send me $30,000 and I'll pay you back? Okay. And they were like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, I'd be like, no, no. Yeah. No, I will not give you $30,000. And but they were manipulated. And again, I don't victim shame them because they really believed that he was rich. He had all this, all these facts and evidence to kind of back him up. He was very good at what he did.
I know people that have been had like that.
I'm sure.
I'm sure. They thought their guy was rich because he was rent these cars.
Right.
I know when it got to the point of marrying one and then realized he was poor.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't know her well. She was a friend of a friend. Okay. But I was like...
Are they divorced now?
Of course. Yeah, yeah.
That's insane.
Oh, yeah.
So to me, again, from relationships I've been in the past, financial manipulation or financial abuse to me is huge. Because I think a lot of people hide those things. So when if I'm ever in another serious relationship, I don't care if you have student loans, I don't care what it is. I want to know straight up what I'm dealing with. I think too many people try to hide it or come across they have all this money and they don't. And it's that's crazy.
Yeah. You should have your credit report on your dating profile.
Yeah, honestly.
I think that's an adult thing to ask on a date. Be like, what's your credit score?
Right. And like my whole thing is just like, I like to travel. We were just talking about that in the elevator. Like
on every podcast since once. Yeah.
I love traveling, like, and like that's like my treat myself moment, but it takes a lot for me to spend that money. But like that's the one nice thing I like to do. Because I want to look back at my life and be like, look at all the adventures I took. But at the same time, I like having a savings and I like having a roof over my head and I like being able to pay my bills every month. Like that is equally as important to me.
Yeah. You want to be responsible.
Yeah. I have a kid. Like I feel like it's like, you know what I mean?
Mom, why do I have closed for the same 3 years? Mommy had to go on vacation.
I had to go on vacation again. But yeah, like I watched that documentary and I felt terrible for those women. But it was like, I must be super selfish because I would never give anyone that much money. Or maybe
$30,000.
A lot of money.
That's a lot. I mean,
like I guess she thought she was marrying or she thought she was dating a millionaire. So she thought he would be good for it, but like...
So was he taking her on dates, lavish vacations?
Yes, so like flights, and they were staying in these hotels. So like, I understand why she would think that.
Yeah.
But also it's like, if I loan you $30,000 and then you start asking me for more money, I'm going to be like, not until you give me back my $30,000.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's why I'm single and... But that guy's back on.
Why?
Because I won't give people.
That's the problem you're having out there?
That's the problem. That's 100% what it is.
Just, I don't know why these guys think I'm money bags.
I know, Miss Moneybags over here. Yeah, but he's back on Tinder apparently. Like he was wanted
back on.
Yeah, he was wanted in Israel because he did something in Israel because he's originally from Israel. He did something to like steal money there, and then they caught him. They sent him back to Israel. He was supposed to do 15 months in jail, and he only spent 5 months in jail, and he's back out on the dating apps.
I mean, well, now he's so famous from this documentary. Right. If you date him, you're just asking for it.
Right. Like you should know.
You feel like I got swindled by the Tinder Swindler. Yeah. It's like, well, now that he has that name, you should have seen this coming. You should have seen it.
Well, he had like, so the funny thing is he had like a girlfriend in like Norway. He had another girlfriend in Greece. And then he had a girlfriend in Amsterdam. And then the one in Amsterdam was like about to get on a plane and saw the article. She's like, that's a picture of my boyfriend. Is it the Tinder Swindler? So she, watched the whole thing on the airplane. And she was the one that basically was able to kind of like pretend like she was on his side, but then get him caught by police.
I should go watch it. I remember starting it. For some reason, when I started, I was like,
It's very interesting because there is, I actually am impressed by him. Like it is impressive what he was able to do.
Scamming.
Right. Yeah. Like I would never think of it. I don't think I have the perseverance to see that through.
Yeah. Oh, to scam someone?
Yeah, no. I also like wouldn't want to do that, but also I feel like he was obviously very detail oriented. Like he knew exactly what he was doing at exactly what time.
Most scammers are pretty
smart.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew a friend of mine's mom.
I knew a scammer.
No, a friend of mine's mom, like back like when AOL was like a new thing.
Oh.
She met
a Nigerian prince.
She met a guy from like New Orleans who actually was who he said he was. He was this old New York Giants football player. I forget his name. He wasn't like a famous one, but he was. It
was Tiki Barber.
It was Tiki Barber. Yeah, it was before that. She was a little heavy set. You know what I mean? She's been divorced for a while. Whatever. Wasn't getting a lot of guys in her life.
Sure.
Raising kids. Blah blah blah. So he threw her down there, wined and dined. She was like in love.
That's awesome.
Going back and forth a lot. And you were happy for her. But he asked her to be partners in his jazz restaurant he wanted to open up.
As one does.
How
long were they together? If you had a guesstimate.
6 months.
All right, so that's like you have a good foundation.
Good foundation.
You have a nice foundation. It's not like we've been dating a month and like I want you to be my partner in my jazz restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah. It's on the first day. Be like, this is going so well. I know I'm usually not this far with a relationship, but how would you like to be my business partner? Be like, we haven't slept together yet. No, we'll do that next time.
That's a second date conversation.
That's a second date conversation. Listen, I don't sleep on the first date. I just get into business relationships on the first date. That's
Let's shake on it.
Type of guy I am.
Perfect.
And yes, you sent them a lot of money and never heard from him again. And just, I don't even know what happened because, you know, it's like a friend's mom, so I'm not there to like hear all the details all the time. But I remember just feeling so bad for her because you were kind of happy for her because
she was alone for a while. She met a nice guy.
And you're like, God damn. Because also the internet was fairly new.
Right.
That stuff wasn't happening.
Well, listen, I also like, it doesn't matter how long you've been with somebody too, but it's like, I'm a big believer in keeping finances separate to an extent. Like if I got married again, and this is how it was when I was married the first time, like a joint account to pay bills, but I have my own separate savings and checking because it worked out for me. Yeah. But I think it's very important to have finances separate. As much as you trust somebody, it's just people spend money differently. And like for me, it's like a protection, a security. So maybe that's again why I would not send somebody $30,000. Like,
yeah. 30,000.
That's a lot of money. That's a car.
Yeah. If my mom called me, it's like, I have $30,000, I'd be like, let's talk about this.
Well, you love your mom, but I agree. Like, right. Because my parents, same thing. They would be like, let's come up with, like, I would never ask my parents for $30,000 without knowing that I was going to pay them back the money.
Right.
And that's family.
Yeah. I'd be like, what's happening, Mom? What'd you do?
I bet on the ponies.
I met a guy at Tinder. I got swindled and I want my money back.
I'll put in a bet with the ponies.
The ponies. I missed I used to go to the track with my grandpa. That was used to do every Father's Day, take my grandpa to the track.
Very nice.
I was driving up, actually, it was Route 9 yesterday with my mom, and I saw they closed down Freehold Racetrack.
Yeah, I had never been there, though. Is that where I used to go?
No, we used to go to Monmouth.
So I went for the first time ever to Monmouth, or the first time in years, in September, and it was so much fun.
Yeah,
I would go back. Ava had fun.
Yeah, I like to. It's like fun gambling.
Yeah,
it's because
I didn't gamble anything. I just ate. I had the best pulled pork sandwich I've ever had there because they had food trucks.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God,
I love pulled pork.
Mm-hmm. What a direction. We went from Tinder would you give somebody $500,000? So would you give somebody like if you
someone I'm dating? No.
Just ignore that.
You get it.
Excuse me.
We have it on the wine shot. We'll watch. We're gonna keep it all in.
Okay.
But so if I met someone and they needed
money, how much money would you be willing to give somebody if they asked you for money?
A friend or a lover?
A lover.
A lover. I don't know. It all depends on how long we've been together.
Right. And if you think they're a multimillionaire that could pay you back. Because they really thought that this guy had so much money.
Yeah. That would be a red flag for me because, if I meet a girl who's a multimillionaire and they need money and I'm not.
Right.
And they need money from me.
I'm just a podcast
So they're
host.
obviously the one that's like got great money moves and knows how to get things done. I would find it to be a big red flag while you're coming to me.
Well, he would do things like they froze my accounts. There's people after me because my family's so rich and famous. And I'm like, so-and-so got shot. And he had like pictures and evidence, all these things. But like, I'm too much of a cynic. I'd be like, something's not adding.
Yeah. I think a girl can get away with that with a guy early on.
Right.
If he's really into her, be like, okay. But I think after about 3 months, he'd be like, what?
I don't have all this money.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I usually try not to loan out more than I'm prepared to not get back.
That's a great rule of thumb. I like that.
I have friends I've borrowed money from me, and I'm like, this is what I could afford to lose and keep our friendship.
Yeah, if not,
I may have to mute this because I don't want anyone to hear it and be like, oh, well, at least I know how much I don't have
I'm worth
$50.
My friendship with Joe is worth $78.
Yeah, no, everyone's always paid me back, but I never asked for it.
Yeah, it's hard though because I get it. Like, and if I had a friend that was in a rough spot, I would want to loan them money. But at the same token, like I have to keep myself okay. And my kids. So it's like, I can only give you.
Yeah. I have to know you're like in a sort of responsible person.
I got myself in a pickle.
Yeah. Family, I'll just put. Yeah,
Family's
$30,000.
That's a down payment. Like, that's so much. It's a large, like,
that's a large amount.
Right. This girl was like, I was saving for an apartment and but my friend needed me, so I gave him money. I'm like, I need an apartment. Like, I'm not like, no. And I'm like, am I a bad person?
That you wouldn't loan them
$30,000?
No, listen, anybody in my life that calls me and says, I need $30,000 to be like, did you call the wrong number? Like, do you know? Like,
you think I have $30,000?
Yeah, like I do it. You think I have it to give it to you? Like,
right?
Like, I would never. I put it this way. Yeah, I would have a hard. Probably the only ones I wouldn't have a hard time giving it to would be my brothers.
Right, and your mom.
No, mom.
We love you.
Mom can have it all. Mom can have it all. But yeah, I could never imagine liking a girl enough to give them that much money.
We should put a poll after we're done taping this. Let's put a poll up on our podcast Instagram and ask if people would be willing to loan a large amount of money to somebody they were dating. I'm curious.
I think we'll
have to define what a large amount of money is.
A girl I'm dating. So you got to think, are you dating for a long time?
They were dating, like, I think the first time he asked them for money was like a month in, but it was like a small amount of money. Like, he was like kind of like, it was like they were together, the one couple was together 14 months. So, yeah, I mean, I would say they were together at least 6 months to a year, over a year. That's like a full-blown relationship.
Yeah. Is it? 6 months to a year? Yeah, I guess that's. I think
that's like I would start to think we're getting like at a year. We're thinking it's getting
6 months
serious.
Probably not though, right?
6 months. I think it starts to be like, can I see this person?
Yeah.
To me, I think it takes a good 2 years of being with somebody before you know if this is going to be. That's usually why most of my relationships fade out around 2.
Yeah. Mine used to about 6 months to be like, yeah, this is.
Well, they say 3 months is the longest somebody can like pretend to be somebody they're not. So I think you should be, I don't think you should be considered to be serious with somebody until a year.
Yeah. And a year and a extended vacation to see
you need to
how they can handle shit not working out.
You need to get in a fight.
Yeah.
You need to travel. I think you should live with somebody, not before a year, but I think you should live with somebody before you marry them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think you need to experience these things to see how it works and like how you guys handle conflict and stuff before you know if it's like, okay, we can do this. And how do you communicate? So there's certain, things that have to happen that aren't going to happen in like 3 months or 6 months.
Right.
Normally. Because there's always exceptions.
Yeah, there's like my Italian grandparents knew each other 2 weeks before they got married. And they were married forever. Well, so and I go, Grandma, do you love Grandpa that much? She goes, no, I wanted to get out of my house. She goes, but I learned to love him.
Oh, but that's sweet. Like, I think it was just different. My aunt and my uncle, my dad's oldest brother, they've been together since middle school.
Yeah.
And like they broke up, I think like twice, both their senior years of high school, but they're happily married. They're together. God, I can't even do the math, but like forever. And so some people, I think you just know. I bet you he would give her $30,000.
Who?
Your grandma or your grandpa would have.
No. Listen, even Indian friends that I know that like had like
the arranged marriages,
but they swear by them because they're like you talk to them, they're like, oh, you Americans getting married for love, it's so stupid, so fragile. Like they do, it's like a business relationship.
Yeah.
And they do it, but I guess they fall in love eventually.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said about like as long as the person is a moral, good person, you probably could fall in love with somebody because you don't have a choice. You watching my podcast?
I have no choice but to love you.
I have no choice. I have to love this person.
I don't want to get stoned in town square.
Right. I think just from.
That mic
do you see the mic going?
Is it moving?
It's moving.
All right. Here. Oh.
First it was coming at me. Now it's getting away from me. It's Stupid girl.
Breaking up with you. It's like,
What else is new? I think that my experience going through a divorce totally changed my view on marriage. But that being said, I'm not anti-marriage, actually. I would like to get married again, but I would do it totally different.
like, what do you mean? I was so vague.
Raves every day. No. So I think that, number one, I think I was 24 when I got engaged, 26 when I got married. I don't think I had any idea what I wanted. I don't think I knew who I was, and I don't think I knew what I wanted in a partner or in a serious relationship, right? So I think just the fact that I'm now, like, it's almost 10 years. It's 10 years since I've gotten engaged. Like, I know more about who I am and what I want in a partner.
Right.
I think I was also too worried about fitting the role of a wife. Whereas I just want to be in a relationship with somebody that it's like we're ourselves, and I don't feel like I'm fitting a role or playing a part.
Right.
And maybe that was me being childish at 24, thinking this is how I'm supposed to act as a wife, or this is how a marriage is supposed to look.
Gotcha.
And now it's more like, no, I like the idea of marriage. I like the idea of being together. But let's just keep our relationship the way it is and not pretend like now that even if we take this step, now we have to act different or be different people. And I also have no issue with signing a prenup. I think when it comes down to it, marriage is a business decision. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with signing a prenup, because if I'm going to get married again, if I'm going to do this again, this is it. My dad tells me I get one more shot.
Yeah.
That's it. So
Two's enough.
Two's enough. If I fail the second time, I'm never doing it again, right? I'll just like live with somebody full time. But
I that just like, you have your own house, I have my own house.
Yeah, it's good. Bye. I have no problem with the prenup. And I understand why. I think back in my 20s, if somebody was like, I want you to sign a prenup, I would have been really upset, because I would have been like, wow, you don't think it's going to last? Now I'm like, after being through a divorce, I'm like, prenup's a great idea. You keep your stuff, I keep my stuff. That's just the business aspect of it. That way, if it does go south, we shake hands and we move on. Because I also don't believe in holding grudges and stuff like that.
I do. No, I'm kidding. I had to say it.
Wow.
Swindler.
Joe's the Tinder Swindler.
Tinder Swindler. I've never been on Tinder.
You're not missing anything.
I'm sure. I've never heard good stories.
I only had a success on Hinge when I was on dating apps back in the day.
Yeah.
The other ones were garbage.
Trying to think about scamming. It's so interesting that people would like... I guess when you get scammed like that, you have to be a pretty desperate person, right? Yeah,
or I think you're just like, I think it's a level of like, you're a...
Naivety?
No, it's like a psychopath. Like
no, to be scammed.
Oh, to be scammed. No, you're not. You're a victim. Yeah, I think it's because...
Scammed? What a psychopath you are.
Crazy person.
I mean, I would, if I gave $30,000, I hope my brother's like, you're crazy.
You're insane. You deserve that. No, I think it's naivety. I think it's that they think that they're good people, so they think everyone's a good person. And this guy manipulated them. Like,
it's easy to be manipulated.
Right.
Like, I mean, I've been manipulated by
100%.
Women, but not financially.
We're the worst.
We're the worst. They are the worst.
No, I've been manipulated as well.
No, but like
emotionally,
yeah. Like, things weren't always what they said they were.
100%.
You know, so
100%. Like, yeah.
So what's the line we use on a first date? Like, are you dating anyone? And if they go no, be like, does anyone think they're dating you?
That's So that's like a newer thing I've seen. It's like
because that's happened. You're like, right. I know you're not in a relationship, but someone's.
Does anyone else think they're dating you? Like, can you imagine?
Yes, it's happened.
Really?
Oh yeah. Terrible experiences. But I was much younger, so what do you think?
What a swindler.
Swindled. But not really. Didn't really cost me anything but some time.
Yeah.
But
that's very precious. Although I would rather lose some time than $30,000.
It wasn't that much time. It was more like
I'd rather lose some time than $30,000.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah.
I've lost plenty of time in those relationships.
How much time is $30,000 worth for you?
A lot. Yeah. A lot. Oh goodness. No, so I guess we're both on the same page with that. I just can't see giving up that much money. No I would be like, how else can I help you? Because I can't give you $30,000.
Yeah. How about I help you? Let's go out and I'll help you do a GoFundMe.
I'll set up the GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Help my swindly boyfriend.
Yeah, no, I don't think I should watch that.
It was good. I would recommend it. It was very interesting. It's longer than I remember it being, but like it didn't
it's
feel long.
episodes, right?
No, it's one giant documentary.
Okay, because I know there's some documentaries I go on, I start, I'm like, wait, how many?
Episode 4, what?
No.
I started to watch the John Benet Ramsey one, and I hate to say this because I feel bad, and this is nothing against like the poor girl and everything, but I just was so bored because I feel like I knew enough about the case to be, and like I also know that there's no answer. So I'm like, why am I watching this? Because none of this is new information to me.
I know.
So I was just, and it was multiple episodes. Yeah. I want to watch the Madeleine McCann one though, the one with the girl that went missing. Her parents were on vacation, and she went missing from the hotel room or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I want to watch that one because I feel like I don't know as much about that case, and I would like to know. I think there might be more answers with that one. Probably not. I don't know.
Yeah. I like stuff like that.
Me too. I'm very into those documentaries.
I saw an interesting, I think it was a podcast I listened to that had like those documentaries and like CSI shows like that have ruined juries.
Really?
They call it the CSI effect in all these crime shows because like most like murder stories, like convictions, they're done with like evidence, circumstantial evidence,
right?
You know, like stuff. Everyone wants DNA now, and it's very rare that they have DNA.
Right, because like, if they had the DNA, it would be easy to be like, here's your DNA.
So like there's these juries like, there's no DNA, they're innocent. Or like, you know, they watch too much TV.
They don't know about circumstantial evidence.
Who they are in the jury room. And I'm like, God, that's terrible.
Did you ever see that reality show about the jury and the one guy, they're all actors except for the one guy on the jury duty?
No.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's called Jury Duty, and it's like all of them are like unknown actors, and then there's one guy who's a real guy who thinks he's on jury duty, and also James Marsden is on jury duty, but they know it's James Marsden's playing. James Marsden's playing himself. Hold on. You know him. I can't think of a movie he's in that you would know.
Oh, James Marsden.
James Marsden.
Of course.
So they're on jury.
Jimmy Boy, that's what we call him.
Jimmy Boy Marsden. They're on jury duty for LA, and James Marsden's on jury duty playing himself, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're James Marsden." He's like, "Yeah," and it's very funny.
Yeah, and then have that guy walk in.
Yeah,
be something else.
Like, no, I'm Paul.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's a bunch of other like unknown actors and this one guy, and the crazy crap they make them do. It's I don't know how else to explain it.
I see that. I've never even heard of it.
Let me see what it's
I think
on.
you think I'd be a good juror?
No.
Because I remember I'm so easily convinced.
Right.
Like I remember watching the Casey Anthony closing arguments. I didn't watch the trial, but I remember they're like, oh, the closing arguments are on. Right. So I was like, I'm going to watch this. So I'm watching the prosecution go first, and I'm like, she's going down. That's it. She did it. She's going down. She's not getting off. Then I watch the defense rebut them. I'm like, she's getting off. She's totally getting off. Like and she got off.
I mean, that means they're doing their job.
They're doing their job, but both convinced me.
Right.
So I would have been the guy in a jury. Like, I just don't know what to do.
We all agree she's guilty, right?
We all agree she's guilty.
We all agree she killed her kid.
All agree.
100%, right?
Even though I knew she killed her kid, when I watched the closing arguments, I was like, she's getting off because they left just enough doubt.
Yeah. Because just enough.
And I was like, I can't believe she's gonna get off. And she did. I was like, but I'll be the hung jury guy. Like they'll be like, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know, man.
You tell me, what do I think?
Well, you tell me. I kind of believe both.
Right. Can we be 50-50? Oh, you could have
been half killed.
You can watch it on Amazon Prime. Do you have Amazon Prime?
Yeah. No, I have them all because I find every month I get my credit card statement. I'm like, oh, I subscribe to this.
Oh, I have this. I'm going to send it to you to watch as a reminder. It's so funny. Send to Joe Fernandes. There he is. I don't know how to explain it. I've never watched a show like it. It was very, very entertaining.
I'll watch
I might go back and watch it again. It was that entertaining.
That's pretty entertaining.
There's going to be a season 2. You don't have a show like I have some go-to shows that I'll just watch over and over again because I just want background noise on.
Yeah.
I don't want to like Sex in the City. I could just put on and like whatever. I just want to watch it.
I watched that the first couple seasons because the girl I lived with then was into it, so we'd watch it, and I liked it back then.
It did not age well, but it's still entertaining.
Yeah.
You have to just accept it for what it is.
I'm trying to think. The shows I watch.
Did you ever watch Jane the Virgin?
No.
You should watch that. It's probably a little girly, but like it's shot like a telenovela.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining.
I've heard of it.
It's good.
I watch a lot of like Friends is something I'll put on.
Friends is great.
Background.
Yeah.
It's not on as much anymore, but Cheers was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
I put on the background.
Those are great shows to have on in the background. King of Queens. I love King of Queens. You gotta.
King of Queens always reminds me of my grandparents.
Really?
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, I love that show too.
And King of Queens.
Yeah.
But my grandpa used to always say it wrong. I'd call him like, what are you guys doing? We're watching Kings and Queens.
Kings and Queens. Oh. This is the same grandparents that got used to being married?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Italians. I wrote actually a screenplay about that.
Did you?
Their story.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of my college screenplays.
Okay.
Called a story from Down Neck. It was about because they met at a bus stop.
Okay.
It was pretty,
That's so sweet. 2 weeks later, she was like, I could tolerate this man.
Because he was going to Georgia because he got going to fight in World War II.
Oh,
so they got married and she became his wife and stayed back while he was
That's crazy.
overseas fighting. Well, he wasn't fighting at first. He was just like a cook and then he had to get into fighting.
How long was he over there?
I forget, but he was in the Battle of the Bulge, which is one of the
Oh yeah.
Like he had frozen feet, and if he had shorts on, he had this muscle removed because he got hit with shrapnel from a bomb.
Ooh.
And he was like, he's like he was under so much adrenaline, he didn't know he got hit, like just from the adrenaline.
That's insane.
And stuff. And then he had pictures of him like holding like Nazi flags and stuff.
That's
like,
crazy.
It was crazy that. I knew a guy that did all that.
Right. You were related. Not only you knew a guy, you were related to a guy.
Related to him.
Wow.
A hero. He had a Purple Heart.
Oh, I love that.
He was Purple Heart recipient.
My grandpa was in the army, but he fought he didn't fight. He was in the Korean War, but he was stationed in Germany.
Okay. He still was doing something.
He was still doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my grandpa was a cook. He wasn't expecting to see battle.
My grandpa was like not like a mechanic or something. He fixed I think. I don't remember. He doesn't talk about it a lot.
Those guys don't.
He doesn't talk about it ever, really. I didn't even know he was in the army until my cousin was doing a project on something for high school. And she's like, I'm going to interview Grandpa. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Grandpa was in the army. What?
Yeah.
No, like we didn't know. Like we didn't talk about it.
I wish I interviewed. We produced a show for many years called the Veterans Project.
Okay.
Where we would have all veterans.
That's awesome.
Talk about that. I wish my grandpa was alive when we were doing that show. I would have had him on, but he probably wouldn't have talked. He was just like, I did what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do? Like he never wanted to like boast about it.
Yeah.
He never like got involved with like it afterwards. He was like
a VFW guy or
I think because he got drafted, he's like, well, all right, I guess I have no choice but to go. I'll do it for my country.
That was my grandpa too. Like he never like talked about it. He was never really again, like I had no idea. Until I was in at least middle school, if not high school.
He wouldn't even watch war movies, like because I remember seeing Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Grandpa, man, this movie is so good. I was like, it's like. I've never seen a war movie like this. It's like you're there. He goes, let me tell you something. There ain't nothing like being there. Yeah. He's like, I go, do you want to see it? He goes, why the hell would I want to relive that shit again?
I mean.
And I'm like, fair enough. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I should dig up that screenplay. I've been finding a lot of my old college stuff, cleaning out my closets. And I remember it's probably good for college level writing. If I read it now, That's
how I feel about, like, I used to take creative writing classes, and I'll find, like, old short stories and stuff. And I remember how much I loved writing it. And, like, I kind of don't want to reread them because I'm like, what if it's garbage? What if it's not good? Like, now as, like, an adult.
But they could be good to tweak.
Right. It gives you a base to start with.
Yeah, because most of the stuff I even write now, when I write a screenplay now, is trash until I tweak it.
Right.
But I try to write it not like that writing prompt we did.
Oh, the one that I didn't do. Yes, the writing prompt that I forgot about, and then I opened my phone and I was like, oh my gosh, I have this.
I wrote it.
Did you?
But like, so sometimes I know the story I want to write beforehand. So, or I know the end and I write to it.
Ooh.
So that's like a thing I try to do sometimes. How do I want this to end? And now I know how to navigate my characters to get there. But I was, I had my iPad at this cigar lounge by my mother's house. And I was just, all right, and I just had this idea. So it was, for the first time in a long time, I just started writing 2 characters.
Okay.
Not knowing I had no backstory for either one of them, or not knowing where it's going. So currently it goes nowhere.
Oh, I love that
I have so it's like this waitress and this guy.
Okay.
But this guy's very weird. So I don't know what he is yet. He could either be an alien.
Oh, very weird.
Extremely autistic. Or like brought from the future back to the past. That's how weird he is. Like he's acting very weird.
Those are all the same thing. No, just
Are they? Oh, yeah. No,
okay.
I have him being strange, and she doesn't know why. But he says,
"What kind of restaurant?" I imagined a diner.
It's a diner. Yeah, no, it is a diner. That's what I pictured. It's a diner, and it's basically a line that I just thought of that I put. He's like, "I'm supposed to be here to help somebody," because she goes, "Where are you from?" He goes, "I don't know." So maybe
it's a hitman.
So that's also a possibility I have, because he doesn't know where he's from, but he's supposed to be here to get a message from somebody. Because I'm trying to make it, because like when you write a screenplay, especially with 2 characters, they each need something from each other, else there's no drama.
What's her background? We need background for her. I pictured maybe she went had a huge fight with her boyfriend or broke up with her boyfriend or something. There's got to be some kind of maybe she is reading him wrong because of something that happened before she got to work.
Yeah, she just doesn't want to work there anymore.
There's that.
She's very,
or there.
No,
that.
No, but that's a good back.
You know what I mean? What's going on in her life where she might be reading the room wrong? Not saying she is.
Right. Yeah, because they're put here for a reason tonight.
I love that.
If you read it now, it just kind of goes nowhere. So I was like, I didn't have time to go further. So I was like, well, if we do the writing sesh, I'll just be like, this is where it is at now.
Well, you have plenty of time, because I didn't start mine yet. So I'll
there you go. And then I worked on 2 of them actually. Just I've been a creative flow lately, and there was another one I wrote of because I drove past my grandparents' old nursing home recently, and so I wrote a story about a young man visiting his grandfather at the nursing home for lunch. He's thinking about asking his girlfriend to marry him, but he's not sure. So he starts giving him advice.
Yeah.
And because there's a line I used for the grandfather. It goes, "Love is no reason to get married. It's one of them, but it's not a good one."
No, that's so funny.
I forgot the line.
That's great, though. Is that real advice you've gotten, Joe?
No, it's something I thought of.
Joe's just channeling his inner thoughts.
No, wait. Where was it? Damn it. Because sometimes, when I'm just driving, I just think of dialogue sometimes.
Oh, okay.
There's this guy Brian Koppelman who he wrote Rounders.
Oh, yeah.
He did the show Billions.
Okay.
I follow him on Instagram. He's great, and he does a thing. He'll turn on his camera. He's like, dialogue heard in the wild or something.
Okay.
So it's something. He's at the gym. He hears 2 people talking. He's like, that would make good dialogue.
Oh, I love that.
So I don't know what sparked me to think of this, but what was it? Love is no reason to get married. It's one of the reasons, maybe, but I still think about her a lot. I mean, if you love somebody, you want to be together, just do it. And so he's talking about a girl he was in a relationship that he didn't marry.
Right.
Right. So he doesn't know but he was married to the grandmother who he did love a lot.
Right.
But there was other girl. So he still thinks about her, but there was a reason why they shouldn't get married. That's why he's like, love is no reason to get married.
Oh,
so that's what I'm trying to think that. And then this is stupid. Instead then he goes, because then he contradicts himself by saying, I mean, if you love someone and you want to be together, just do it. So then the grandson's like, but you said love is no reason to get married. Right. He goes, it's one, but doesn't mean you'll be happy.
I mean, none of this is false, by the way.
What makes you happy? Me? Pizza. So like, and then they're going to go on to think about pizza. True love, longest of my life. And then
that's adorable.
And then there's like a funny part of it. Oh, it tends to be funny where the grandpa tries making a metaphor with love and pizza, but it's falling short. And he goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I thought that was going to be better than it was." Like, kind of like.
I love that.
Because I try
very rom-commy.
Very, very rom-commy. I try to write sometimes as like a theater performance.
Oh, so you don't picture it like cinema. You picture on stage?
Well, when I'm writing a whole movie, I'll picture it cinema visually because you got to put time into certain things you can only tell with a visual element. But when it's a dialogue scene with two characters, it's got to be a little talky. So that's usually what plays are. You know what I mean? So I try and think of it in a play, like it's going to be a play, though it could be
a movie. But
I always put too much I always write too much dialogue, but then pare it back.
I was gonna say that's easier, I would imagine, than not having enough.
Correct, because then the way I write is. I mean, not the way a lot of people.
The way I do it.
The way I do it, and I'm dropping some gems. Then you pull it back because then, like, when you think about people aren't as honest and direct, they pull back.
Right. So
you got to try and like, how would he say that? Well, especially, this is a grandson and grandfather, but if it was like a guy and a girl, like probably the waitress and the other guy, if that was like a love thing,
right?
You pull back or like you're not sure of the person, even if it's not a love thing. If it's like is this guy scamming me? So you know what I mean?
Is he the Tinder Swindler?
Tinder Swindler. But those are what I've been working on. I don't think anyone's gonna steal it because it was very.
I love that idea. I like that line though, because it as you're reading it, it's very sentimental, but it is contradictory.
Yes,
he contradicts himself. But don't we all contradict ourselves all the time with things we say and do?
Right.
So I like that. It's very like. It's well written, but it doesn't sound like something that's written. It sounds like something somebody would just say off the top of their head. Yeah. And I like that.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, I think the theme of that one is almost like I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Right.
Because you're going to do what you're going to do anyway.
Right.
But what I'm going to tell you is don't make your life choices from feelings because feelings are bullshit. Like feelings are in fact, you know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, my feelings, like kind of like my grandmother, like, I like them. I like them.
I learned to like them.
We figured it out.
My dad always says like, my dad is not a lovey-dovey person at all.
Yeah.
But his advice has always been like, everyone has flaws and you just decide which flaws you're willing to, ignore or deal with.
Yeah.
And there you go. If they're a good person and they don't make you do anything illegal or immoral, and I'm like, that's great. Great advice, Dad. But that's what he says. It's like everyone has flaws, learn which ones you can work with, and then there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, exactly. Yeah.
Sure.
For sure.
I guess.
That doesn't make fun writing, though.
Nope, doesn't make fun writing.
Drama's got to be a little more fun writing.
I love a drama, yeah.
You got to have a little bit more juice.
A little more juice to it, yeah.
Man, this couple does everything properly. What a boring story.
What a boring story.
But, yeah. So you'll start writing probably eventually. We'll keep
that prompt. I remember liking it and I had so many ideas and then I was just like, I have to get better at sitting down and making time for writing. I feel like I'm so busy lately running around with work and then my daughter and then just keeping up with the house and like all these things that when I do get downtime, I just sit on my phone, which is the last thing I should do. But you get in the modes where you just want to like veg out and but I really should start scheduling in. Like I schedule in the gym, I should also schedule in writing time where I put my phone down and just write. Because if I'm in the mood, like if I'm in the right mood or the zone, I can write a lot in one sitting. But
or do it like I do. Like I'm always popping. I think about writing, so even when I'm in the car, I'll be like, "Hey Siri, make a note," and I'll throw in something like that.
Yeah,
and then I had that when I sat down to write. So I had something to start from instead of like, blank page, what are we going to do here?
Right. And I think I also have to be more like, not like, my whole thing is I'm always afraid that I'm going to write something that's going to be bad. Whereas I had to just write.
I put that in the note I share with you with the prompt recently. Because I was like, oh, I should have put this.
Just write it.
Well, I was like, oh, let me. Because I gave you the quote unquote rules of the game. And then I edited it the other day. I said, also, don't worry about being good. Just write it. First draft that everything sucks and making it better is what we'll do together.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Yeah,
because I am my own worst enemy because I've always been like, I don't think I could ever write a book. I don't think I could do it. And then I'm like, why? Why couldn't I write a book? I probably could write a book if I really wanted to. I'm like, no, you're more of a poetry and short story person. I'm like, could always start with a short story and then see where it goes.
Of course.
I feel like I just sometimes am my own worst enemy of holding myself back, being like, you can't do this. But isn't that all of us?
Well, the hardest part of writing is writing.
Starting, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, because I think we all want to be perfect. You're like, this is not good.
Right.
But
you compare and...
I mean, that's why I think what's good, like a lot of times, like you'll see like if you read novels, you just see the person's finished product.
Right.
Same with movies.
Right.
So like the benefits of being in stand-up, you'll work with big acts early in the development of their new act and see how not good it is and how it goes. So you get to see the process. So you know there's a process of the time when these people are not good.
Yeah.
So I think seeing that benefit. So you got to probably think that a novel
would probably take forever.
But like I try to like I always read a lot about writing and stuff. I like to read a lot of Tarantino. People on writing. I love books about people's process.
Okay.
And he writes his screenplays like novels.
Oh.
Because he wants it to read like that because it helps him visualize it more. Instead of just like your boring, like cut to this and that. And then it's like, write it. Just write it. Like there's nothing wrong.
And I have to, I always think I get in my head, like there's a right way to do this. There's a wrong way to do it. But that's awesome because somebody told me I should just write a story or a novel about my life. And I was like, I would exaggerate it a little. It's not as interesting as it comes across. But they're like, write about what you go through. Write about your like your life or things that have happened in your life and exaggerate them like you do with stand up. I'm like, that makes sense actually.
Yeah, I mean that's
what he's writing. Like. Right, I know, but I guess I just never thought it would be, But I have some really good ideas. I have in my head. They're like great ideas. I gotta get them on paper.
Put them on paper. Like if who's that? I show because a lot of people do all their comedy notes on phones. I'm still a paper person.
I'm a paper person.
So I show up with this mess of note cards and like my book. Everything's ripped, and I have my phone that I'll speak notes into. I got my little pad. So it usually goes from the phone to the pad. Or sometimes goes from the phone to the big book, which is the journal. Okay. Phone, big journal. Because even when I journal, I don't know sometimes I feel like I repeat myself on the podcast a lot, but like, excuse me if I've said this before, but like whenever I journal, my rule is I can vent whatever's going on with me, but I have to have 2 joke ideas at the end of this.
Oh, I love that. So it's like a therapeutic journal, but also comedy.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I write whatever's going on. Doesn't have to. It could be a fun, like whatever happened to me that day.
Do you start it by saying, "Dear journal"?
No, but lately the first sentence has been like, "I can't believe I haven't done this for 2 weeks." Or like,
right. I can't believe it's been 5 days.
I can't believe it's been 5 days since I've been. Yeah. Because I'll get in a groove of doing it.
Right.
But then I go back and it's like. So then say it's like 3 or 4 months. So all those I'll be like, all right, today, say I have nothing I really want to write about. I'm like, today I'm going to go into the past and I'm going to make a list of all these joke ideas I had. And then it winds up filling a page. And then you're like, 2 of these are good. You know what I mean?
But you know what though?
I got it out.
You got it out.
I would have never got there to do it. Like I have a line that I'm not going to tell the joke, but this is how I'm getting.
You're going to tell it to me after we shut the cameras off.
Yeah, this is just the line I'm going to get into my joke, my new thing I'm working on. If I can ever find it. God. Anyway, I can't.
Let's cut to this commercial break.
But it's basically I I wasn't fat shamed until I lost weight.
I made a joke about you the other night to KP and Joe Conti. I was they were talking about Joe and how much, not you, Joe Conti, how much weight he lost and how good he looks. I'm like, Joe Fernandes too. I said, yeah, I go on the podcast now. I feel like the fat one. I need to I'm like, eat a cheeseburger, Joe.
Yeah. So that's that. That was a good podcast. We're gonna wrap it up today.
We didn't even have to do any news articles.
Oh, we didn't even get to a news article. That's fine.
Next week.
Next week. You know what we're gonna ask you to do? Go onto social media, follow us, subscribe, like, comment, whatever, review the whole.
We're gonna put a poll up about would you give your Tinder date money? We're gonna word it differently, but there'll be a poll, and we want to know what you guys think.
One of these days.
One of these days. In 5 minutes, I'm putting it up.
Yeah, go to joefernandez.net. Me and Emma, if you see me at Uncle Vinny's in April or in May, Emma will be on the show.
I will. I'll be there. So, we're going to make cool flyers.
Cool flyers. So thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.